Wanna know about the streets? Let me introduce you. Preach to the peeps like a nigga Martin Luther. King on the scene, cup lean, pink fuchsia. Lean triple beans for the green, they'll shoot you. Pow, pow, throw shots, then avoid the troopers. New model black gelato with the moon roofer. Zoom, zoom, coaster, the 6-color Roman noodle. My mama said get money, winners never losers.
The news of Bankroll's death would be a shock to the hip-hop community, particularly in Atlanta, where the rapper had become a hometown hero to fans and one of the hottest prospects in the city. Before his death, he had gained the respect of legends like Jeezy, T.I., and other elder rap statesmen. While the city of Atlanta and fans of Bankroll Fresh continue to mourn the rapper and speak on his untapped potential, those close to him prefer to celebrate the man behind the music and the legacy he's left behind. Bankroll Fresh, born Trentavious Zaman White on August 2, 1987 in Atlanta, was brought up in a two-parent household, but friction between his parents would end their relationship, leaving his mother, Teresa, to be a single parent. Bankroll's biological father, who she chooses not to name, had a sporadic presence in his son's life. He was there, but he wasn't, Teresa says. They had a relationship, and then they didn't, you know? By the time Bankroll Fresh was 3 years old, his father and Teresa would call it quits, and she would become romantically involved with Kenneth K. Rich Johnson, 43, who became Bankroll's stepfather. K. Rich was a constant presence in his life. I think he and his stepdad, they bonded more because we was all in the same household, and he was very influential in his life and taught him a lot of the do's and don'ts and how to go through life doing the right things, basically, Teresa explains.
Another one of my favorite artists that was, would be taking over the game right now if he was here is Bankroll Fresh, bro.
Of course.
Hell yes. Fool.
Raised in Zone 3 on the west side, one of the rougher neighborhoods in a city defined by police patrol zones. Growing up, crack was sold up and down the street. He credited his grandmother for teaching him the game. It was also around this period when Bankroll Fresh began his love affair with music, finding interest in the musical stylings his mother provided, which centered around R&B, but also included an ample amount of rap, the latter of which young Bankroll would take a keen interest in. By age 8, Bankroll was finding inspiration in rappers like Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G., taking note of their style, slang, and lyrical content, with his mother assisting in quenching his thirst for knowledge of the culture.
Fresh finna kill these folk when he get in, like, all the way, he finna kill him, because y'all really can. He got that real flavor, I feel like how L.A. got.
Yeah,
but
that's facts.
He can rap, too. Like, he be... Fresh would be killing it right now.
Man,
Although Teresa and Bankroll would bond through their love of music, she also recalls being a strict disciplinarian, with education being a top priority in the Price Johnson household. Laying down the law and setting a standard for achievement, Bankroll's mother had a low tolerance for delinquent behavior and high expectations for her son. First and foremost, school was important, she asserts. He knew he was going to go to school and he was going to graduate high school. And I put it out there as a parent, like, but if you're not going to college, you got to tell me what you want to do. A child of mine will not be hanging out on the corners with his friends not doing nothing. You got to do something. So from that day on, he started getting into the music.
I pulled up some beats and he was just freestyling. The feeling I felt was a feeling I never felt before in my life.
He was the greatest at the freestyle, boy.
Oh my God, like.
His mother, who worked as bus driver for Marta, would do her best to provide a stable and nurturing environment for her son. But the allure of the streets would prove to be irresistible to Bankroll, who joined his neighborhood friends in their mischievous activities. Coming of age in Zone 3, a project-infested area on the west side of Atlanta, Bankroll would delve deep into his environment and begin to build a reputation in the street. But according to his mother, was more focused on a career in music than being a criminal. Slight in size, Bankroll would shun athletics and other activities in favor of music, much to the disappointment of his biological father, who attempted to deter his son's dreams of a rap career. Despite his biological father's lack of support, Bankroll Fresh would find an early mentor in his stepfather, K. Rich, the CEO of Savoir Faire Entertainment, an Atlanta-based independent rap label he founded in 2000. K. Rich, who would also go on to partner with Gucci Mane to launch La Flair Entertainment in 2005, was a street-savvy entrepreneur who served as a mentor to Bankroll during his formative years and his progression as a rapper. The pair's mutual love for hip-hop drew them close together and would mark the genesis of his career as a recording artist, with Bankroll Fresh, then known as Young Fresh, joining the label roster, which included Bankroll's cousin Montana Mac and other family members in 2003.
He helped me build who I am now. You see what I'm saying? He gave me my hustle, my drive, but this is what he started at my granny house, Zone 3, Atlanta, Georgia.
Bankroll was serious about his rap career, but he was still a work in progress and less disciplined than his cousin, Montana Mac. As a result, Bankroll took a back seat and allowed his more seasoned relative to flourish, a testament to his selflessness and character, initially biding his time and honing his craft. Over the course of the next decade, Bankroll would eventually step in the forefront and begin to make an impression as a prospect on the local rap scene, wowing his Atlanta community with energetic performers and displaying his undeniable presence. First making his name as part of the Get Rich clique, which included the likes of Montana Mac, Black Boy, Hustle Man, and Street Money Bucci. By 2007, Bankroll Fresh would eventually begin gaining traction outside of the crew and building relationships with ATL heavyweights such as Gucci Mane, whom Bankroll would first appear alongside on the track Faces in 2009.
We just recording records, you know what I mean? He was a good friend of mine. That's a big homie, you know what I mean? So he was trying to do something back in the time, but we ain't never figure it out, you know what I mean? And I just kept working, and that's just what it was.
However, while those around the budding talent would take note of his presence and potential as a star, Bankroll himself would have to be goaded into really asserting himself and seeing himself in the light others around him did. After taking heed of his family and friends' words of encouragement, Bankroll Fresh became serious about pursuing a career in rap, releasing Street Motivation, the rapper's debut mixtape, in 2012, which would put heads in Atlanta and beyond on notice that he was an artist to look out for. His appearance on producer Metro Boomin's 2013 compilation mixtape, 19 and Boomin, would capitalize on the buzz from his 2012 release, Street Motivation, as would Bankroll's follow-up mixtapes, Life of a Hotboy and Money to Die For, both released in 2014. Aside from his endeavors as an artist, the rapper also decided to boss up, co-founding his own label, Street Money Worldwide, with his stepfather K. Rich and cousin Nature on March 13th, 2014. If you're new around here, please remember to like and subscribe. It's free and only takes a second.
To me, he was a very positive guy, very hardworking. Every day I've ever been around Bankroll, he was always working.
Yeah.
A year later, Bankroll Fresh's ascension as an artist would hit new heights, unleashing 3 landmark releases: Life of a Hotboy, 2, Real Trapper, a self-titled mixtape, and a collaborative project with Zaytoven titled Rock Solid in 2015. Bankroll's name and profile began to spread beyond the borders of his hometown, with artists ranging from Marilyn Manson and Erykah Badu to Drake and Earl Sweatshirt singing the former Reluctant Star's praises. Since he proved himself as one of Atlanta's more popular rappers, Bankroll seemed primed for a breakout year in 2016. But his untimely death on March 4th of that year, being gunned down in a senseless act of violence in the very neighborhood he came of age in, would prevent him from living out his dreams.
We are seeing video of exactly what happened in the moments leading up to the death of rapper Bankroll Fresh.
At the time, it was unclear exactly what took place on that fateful night. Reports that more than 50 shell casings were found at the scene of the crime were enough evidence to show that the rapper's death was no accident and the result of a personal vendetta. According to Lieutenant Charles Hampton with the Atlanta Police Department, officers arrived at Street Exec Studios at approximately 11 p.m., where they found a large crowd running away from the crime scene. Responding officers were then notified that one person, who was later confirmed to be Bankroll Fresh, had been shot and taken to a local hospital. Affiliates of the rapper and Street Money Worldwide, including DJ Pretty Boy Tank, Bankroll's musical partner and confidant, were also present during the time of the shooting. Video that was released by Atlanta police shows Bankroll holding an assault rifle prior to his death, leading authorities to believe he fired the shot. Bankroll's mother vividly remembers receiving the news that her only child had been murdered. I was home and we was in bed, and I know a lot of times around 10 to 11 at night, we don't get calls, Teresa remembers, and we got a call. They called my phone and I didn't answer because my phone wasn't near me, and then they called Ken. He answered because he felt the vibration, and they were saying, "Pa, Bank just got shot." But everybody was saying that he was grazed. And he told me, and I was shocked because I never known my son to be in any trouble or feuding with nobody, because he never had that in him just to want to hurt somebody. Despite initially being told that their son's injuries weren't serious, Teresa and K. Rich prepared for the worst. Everyone was saying he was going to be all right, but I was like, it don't matter. We got to get up. We got to go see about him. And we both jumped up, got down to the hospital, and there was so many people outside, and I was shocked, she says, and they was waiting for us to come, and once we got there and out the car, we was looking at everybody like, what's wrong? It was like everyone was staring at us, and once we got in, the nurses and the doctors and all that came running toward us, so I knew something wasn't right. After Bankroll Fresh was driven to Hughes Spalding Children's Hospital by a friend after being shot between 10:45 p.m. and 11 p.m., the rapper would be pronounced dead by midnight. News which would leave the rapper's family, friends, and fans grief-stricken, survived by his two children, his son, Trentavia Zaman White Jr., 5, and daughter Madison Redding, also 5. Bankroll's death was not only a loss for the rap community, but also for his family.
The shit was that simple, like, he pulled the gun, shot the motherfucker, couple shots got fired back, he got hit, I leave. Next thing you know, folks calling me saying Fresh dead. You know?
Atlanta rapper and Bankroll's childhood friend No Plug took credit for the shooting during an interview with DJ Vlad in July 2016. According to Plug, he and Bankroll initially got into a scuffle inside the studio, then separated. No Plug says things got deadly when he attempted to retrieve 2 cell phones he lost during the dust-up, only to be confronted by Bankroll and his crew. He came out playing with the gun. No Plug explained. He fired a shot and shit happened. We pulled off, he ended up dead. That simple as shit was. Like he pulled the gun, shot the motherfucker, couple shots got fired back, he got hit, I leave. Next thing you know, folks calling me saying Fresh dead. I called my lawyer, S. Joseph, Gucci Man's lawyer. Gave him $10,000, go down to the homicide. Tell Ms. Benton everything and shit, everything was great. End of story. The Atlanta Police Department concluded a case in June 2018, ruling the shooting as self-defense after determining Bankroll Fresh fired first. There were over 50 shell casings found at the scene.
The case has been closed. Investigation determined that he was shot in self-defense, and there were no charges filed in that case.
In July 2018, Bankroll Fresh's mother's house in Atlanta was targeted in a drive-by shooting. The shooting occurred with a suspect reportedly firing more than a dozen rounds from an assault rifle. Bankroll Fresh's mother and his cousin were reportedly in the house at the time. His cousin was injured by gunshot wounds to the leg and shoulder, but was expected to recover. The incident took place a little over 2 years after Bankroll Fresh was shot and killed.
Late rapper Bankroll Fresh targeted in a late-night shooting. Atlanta police say Bankroll's mother and her niece were inside their home on Smith Street Southwest at the time. We're told the home was sprayed with nearly 20 bullets. This happened last night around 11. Right now, no one is in custody. A bullet grazed the niece on the shoulder and thigh. She is expected to be okay.
So at this point, we have no indication that these two incidents are related.
If you're new around here, please remember to like and subscribe. It's free and only takes a second. At the time of his passing, some of rap's biggest names from across the country paid homage to the fallen rapper via social media, including Lil Wayne, Fabulous, Meek Mill, and others. However, Bankroll's mother says that few rappers have reached out to her or the family personally after her son's death. Although Bankroll Fresh had grown into a star himself at the time of his death, he remained very much a fan of other rappers, specifically 3 of his hometown's more successful trap stars, Young Jeezy, T.I., and 2 Chainz. Bankroll Fresh may not be here physically, but that hasn't stopped the rapper's music from continuing to make an impact. With posthumous tracks like All There, his collaboration with Jeezy from the latter's Trap or Die 3 album, which peaked at number 50 on the Billboard R&B hip-hop chart. In order to keep his name alive, Teresa will also continue her son's charitable efforts. She hopes that he won't only be remembered for his music, but also for his willingness to give back and be a fixture in his community. As for what's next for Street Money Worldwide and the Bankroll Fresh brand, Teresa says that she and K Rich are hard at work connecting the dots. Despite her son not being present in the flesh, his name will not be dying or fading away anytime soon. In the years that have passed since Bankroll Fresh's death, the rapper's presence still looms large in Atlanta, and his impact and influence as an artist remains undisputed, with legends, rookies, fans, and critics alike touting him as one of the more promising exports out of his hometown in quite some time. His distinctive voice continues to be broadcast across the airwaves and receives airplay in the streets, almost making it as if he never left the A testament to his impact in his community and beyond. Or if you put on any one of Bankroll Fresh's tracks, turn the volume up and get lost in the music, you'll come to the realization that he's forever here in spirit and remains the definition of a real trapper.
What we doing, we taking over the streets. You ain't get no motherfucking street money. You don't know how to get no money in the street. You don't know how to get nobody anywhere. You gotta use your street hustle anyway. Your fundamentals of the street, my nigga. Code of the street, stay silent, street money worldwide.